It's time now for French Connections, our weekly look at the intricacies of life here in France with Solange Mougin. Hi, Solange.
Hi, Katie.
Today you are focusing on the end-of-year holiday traditions in France.
Yeah, like in many other nations, it is a festive time here in France. Many of the traditions are not France-specific, as they are steeped in Christianity often, but today they are celebrated by many believers across religions and non-believers alike. Take the over 12 million Advent calendars of all sorts that are sold here.
Chocolat, évidemment.
C'est pour le petit plaisir, mais madame en a déjà un avec des produits cosmétiques.
Je sais pas s'il compte d'une cavale 4, mais je pense qu'après le calendrier, il aimerait bien que ça aille jusqu'à 30 ou 31 même.
Now, the urge to open the 24 little boxes all at once is not a new thing.
Babichou, malgré l'interdiction qui lui a été faite par maman, rêve d'ouvrir toutes les fenêtres. Maman a dit une fenêtre chaque jour.
Now, Advent calendars began spreading around the world after World War II, as did something else.
Yeah, Christmas trees. The tradition actually dates back to 1521 and to Alsace, and the trees were often hung from the ceiling.
Le sapin à l'époque était décoré de denrées périssables, donc le but aussi c'était de protéger le sapin en l'accrochant au plafond des rongeurs ou même des enfants trop impatients.
And it's not just trees, but like in other countries, holly and mistletoe, they also have their place, as do oranges, with many older French people reminiscing about the days when they were younger, when oranges were the present.
Une orange fraîche ou une orange séchée, piquer le clou de girofle. C'est une façon de dire « le printemps reviendra ».
Solange, you were mentioning Alsace a little while ago, and it's true, that is truly the Christmas region in France.
Yeah, it is, and they're known for their Christmas markets. The oldest ones are in this eastern region that borders Germany, with Strasbourg calling itself the capital of Christmas. Its month-long market dates back to the 16th century and ends on December 24th. It is a huge tourism event for the city, with stands that are passed down from one generation to the next.
Nous, ce qui est important aussi, c'est de faire perdurer tous ces emplacements et toutes ces affaires-là dans la famille.
Ça représente quand même entre 40 et 45% du chiffre d'affaires annuel.
There's another tradition that I know my family loves that comes from the south of France in Provence, and that's les santons.
Yeah, these hand-painted figurines of Terra Cotta, well, they generally depict village dwellers in traditional costumes, and they're added to nativity scenes.
Ça raconte une histoire, quoi. Puis cette tradition provençale, moi, j'y suis très attachée.
Now, beyond the Santon tradition, nativity scenes are actually a regularly debated subject in France, with some towns arguing over the religious symbols in these public spaces in light of France's 1905 law on laïcité or secularism.
Cette société s'est construite sur la base de la religion au départ. Donc si on efface tout, il ne reste plus grand-chose.
On demande juste des garanties sur le fait que chacun puisse effectivement vivre sa foi s'il en a une.
Now, France's Conseil d'État, or the Council of State, ruled that on the secularism issue in 2016, saying that these crèches or mangers are allowed to be in place if they have a cultural, artistic, or festive nature.
Okay, Solange, you're going to talk about another tradition now that also has created some debate.
Yeah, I actually did not know this word before doing this show, les étrennes. It is our word du jour, and it refers to giving a tip around Christmas or New Year's. It was a standard practice to give up to 10% of a month's rent to la gardienne or the guardian.
Oui, mais les services, vous les rendez à tout le monde.
À tout le monde, mais ceux qui me donnent rien, je n'aurai aucun service.
The tradition is less common now because for some, well, it's a bit like corruption.
Après, ça fait boule de neige, quoi.
Ça, ils n'ont pas besoin, ils travaillent. Moi, je n'ai pas beaucoup.
But asking for tips still does exist, particularly for firefighters, garbage collectors, and also postal workers.
C'est aussi la preuve que, pour moi en tout cas, que le métier est bien fait.
Also, Solange, a lot of the joy of this time of year comes from the beautiful lights that we see around France, as well as of course, giving gifts.
Yeah, in Paris proper, there is the tradition of the lighting of the Champs-Élysées Avenue. There's taking kids to the window displays at the Grand Magasin or the main department stores. There's also a tradition of printed toy catalogs. A recent poll found that 86% of French kids flip through these catalogs for inspiration for Santa Claus. Some 30 million of them, well, they're printed every year.
J'aimerais trop la maquille pour faire de la pâte. Par exemple, il y a des jouets que je savais pas que ça existait et en fait ça existe.
Now, there's often a big question mark here in France about Christmas celebrations, which aren't actually as set in stone as you might think.
They aren't. Many families in France, especially ones with children, they celebrate Christmas on December 25th, and they open their presents on the 25th. But in other families, well, it's the night before, with no debate about it.
Moi, dans ma jeunesse, en fait, on les offrait le 24 après la messe de minuit.
Comme ça, on peut les avoir plus vite.
And there's also a receding tradition of Saint Nicholas being the person who gives the gifts. And in France, his name, it goes hand in hand with his evil counterpart of sorts. For naughty children, le Père Fouettard, or the father whipper.
Lequel tu préfères, Saint-Nicolas ou le Père Noël?
Père Noël.
Vous lui parlez pas du Père Fouettard?
Non, je préfère pas.
Trop tendre. Now, from the Père Fouettard, who gives a lump of coal, to carved-out beetroot lanterns, to ward off evil spirits in the fields, to solstice bonfires, to the Festival of Lights in Lyon, there are traditions that stick around and others that recede away. But nonetheless, it is a festive time here in France with a bit of light for these dark winter months.
Absolutely. It certainly is a magical time of year. Thank you so much, Solange. If you have other questions for Solange about France or the French, you can always reach out on the website, France24.com, or via social media. We can't wait to hear from you.